Overtaking in rallying isn't like F1 or NASCAR. When it goes wrong in the WRC, it goes spectacularly wrong. See, in most motorsports, overtaking is the whole point. But in rallying, you're not supposed to catch the car in front. You're racing against the clock, not wheel to wheel. So when one rally car has to pass another on a stage, it means something's already gone sideways. And what happens next? Well, that's what we're here for. But here's the thing most people don't realize about WRC overtakes. The most dramatic ones aren't caused by aggression or bad driving. They're caused by something far more dangerous. Dust, confusion, and split-second decisions at 120 miles per hour on gravel roads barely wider than your driveway. And today, I'm going to show you not just the crashes, but the psychology, the rules, and the split-second decisions that turned routine passes into career-defining moments. And stick around, because incident number 4 literally buried a championship contender in a snowbank and ended his rally in seconds. The rules, why overtaking exists in the first place. Before we dive into the chaos, you need to understand something fundamental about rally regulations. In the WRC, cars start at intervals, usually 2 or 3 minutes apart. The idea is simple. You never catch the car in front. You're racing the clock, not each other. But reality is messier than theory. Cars break down. Drivers go off and rejoin. Someone gets stuck in a ditch for 30 seconds. Suddenly, that 2-minute gap evaporates, and you've got 2 rally cars on the same piece of road at the same time. According to FIA regulations, when a faster car catches a slower one, the slower car must yield at the first safe opportunity. But what's safe? When you're doing 100 miles per hour on a gravel road with trees on both sides, safe is a relative term. Incident number 1. Sordo versus Hirvonen. 2008 Rally Argentina. Let's start with one that shows exactly why dust is a rally driver's worst enemy. Rally Argentina, 2008. Mikko Hirvonen's Ford Focus has a turbocharger problem. Basically, his engine's lost half its power. He's limping through the stage, losing massive amounts of time. Behind him, Dani Sordo in the Citroën C4 is absolutely flying. This was during the era when Ford and Citroën were locked in an intense manufacturer battle, and every second mattered for the championship. Hirvonen either didn't notice Sordo coming up behind him, or he couldn't find a safe place to pull over. The stages are narrow, the dust is thick, and when you're dealing with a mechanical issue, your focus is on just getting to the end. Sordo's getting closer, and then tap. He gives Hirvonen a little nudge up the backside. Not aggressive, just a, mate, I'm here and I need past. Sordo lost an estimated 8 seconds, stuck behind Hirvonen before making contact. Imagine trying to overtake someone on a single-lane country road, except you're both doing 90 miles per hour and there's a dust cloud so thick you can't see your own bonnet. Finally, the road opens up. Sordo squeezes by, but he's not happy. You can see it in his body language. Hirvonen's not thrilled either. No penalties were issued for this one. The stewards deemed it a racing incident. Contact was minimal and both cars finished the stage. By the way, I'm going to be posting a lot here, so it would mean a lot if you subscribed and dropped a like for the algorithm. Incident number 2. Neuville versus Mikkelsen. 2015 Rally Argentina. And now we get to one of the most awkward moments between teammates you'll ever see. Fast forward to Argentina again. 2015. Andreas Mikkelsen's Volkswagen Polo has a broken front top mount. That's suspension damage that makes the car handle like a shopping trolley with a wonky wheel. This was peak 2015 VW dominance. Mikkelsen, Ogier and Latvala were untouchable that season, winning nearly everything. Behind him, Thierry Neuville in the Hyundai i20, and he's catching up fast. Now, these two are mates off the track, proper friends. But on the stage, friendship doesn't mean much when you're losing seconds you can't afford to lose. Neuville lost 6 seconds, stuck behind Mikkelsen before the tap. An eternity in rally terms. Neuville's right on Mikkelsen's bumper, Mikkelsen's trying to find a spot to pull over, but the road's narrow, and he's fighting a broken car. Neuville's patience runs out. He gives Mikkelsen a gentle tap from behind. Not malicious, just persuasive. The broken top mount meant Mikkelsen's front suspension couldn't absorb bumps properly, making the car unpredictable and difficult to position for letting someone past. The message is received. Mikkelsen moves over, Neuville gets by, and both drivers carry on. No drama, no penalties, just 2 professionals dealing with an awkward situation. What's fascinating is what happened afterward. In the service park, Mikkelsen and Neuville were seen chatting, laughing even. No hard feelings. That's the level of professionalism in the WRC. Incident number 3. McRae versus Mäkinen, 2002 Safari Rally Kenya. This next one is a masterclass in how technology failure can turn teammates into enemies, at least temporarily. Kenya, 2002. Tommy Mäkinen's Subaru has rear suspension issues. He's slow, he's struggling, and behind him, Colin McRae. The Colin McRae is charging through the stage like a man possessed. McRae was a former world champion, known for his aggressive, spectacular driving style, and his short temper when things didn't go his way. Now, the teams had communicated. Subaru management told Mäkinen, when McRae's within 200 meters, pull over and let him past. Simple, right? McRae's closing in. He's right there, 200 meters, 100 meters, 50 meters, and Mäkinen doesn't move. McRae estimated he lost between 15 to 20 seconds stuck behind Mäkinen, potentially costing him a stage win. McRae's furious. You can hear it in his voice on the radio. He thinks Mäkinen's deliberately blocking him, playing dirty team tactics. But here's what actually happened. Mäkinen's radio was broken. He had no idea McRae was behind him. Zero information. It's like trying to navigate London traffic with no GPS, no road signs, and someone honking behind you that you can't hear. When they finally get to the stage end, Mäkinen's apologizing profusely. We had no information at all. Something's wrong with our radio. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry about that. The radio failure was caused by a loose connection in the wiring harness, a simple problem that created a massive controversy. This incident actually led to changes in how teams communicate with drivers. The FIA recommended backup communication systems, and teams started using multiple radio frequencies to ensure messages got through. Incident number 4. Tänak versus Meeke, 2017 Rally Sweden. And now we get to the one that literally ended a rally in the most spectacular fashion possible. Sweden, 2017. Snow, ice, and snowbanks taller than a man. This is where things get really interesting. Kris Meeke's Citroën has taken a trip into a snowbank. He's dug himself out, but his car's got no power. Engine's not responding properly, likely a sensor issue or damaged intercooler from the impact. Meeke was known as one of the fastest but most crash-prone drivers in the WRC. Brilliant on his day, but prone to moments like this. Behind him, Tänak in the Ford Fiesta is on a charge. He can feel Meeke ahead of him, but the road's narrow, visibility's poor, and there's snow everywhere. This is like trying to pass someone in a frozen alley the width of a refrigerator, with walls made of concrete hard snow on both sides. Tänak catches Meeke. He can see him now. Meeke's trying to move over, but the snowbanks are right there. There's barely enough room for one car, let alone two. Tänak was running in 4th place overall, and just 8 seconds off the podium when this happened. Tänak makes a decision. He's going for it. He pulls to the right, Meeke pulls as far left as he can, and Tänak goes off, straight into a snowbank. The Fiesta's buried. Tänak's rally is over. At those speeds on ice, even a slight steering correction can break traction. Tänak's right side wheels hit soft snow, and physics did the rest. But here's what's interesting. Tänak didn't blame Meeke. In the post-stage interview, he said, "It was my decision. I saw a gap, I went for it, and it didn't work out. That's on me." That's the mark of a champion, and it's probably why Tänak went on to win the championship 2 years later. Incident number 5. Grönholm versus McRae, 2003 Rally GB. This one's got everything. A broken car, a stubborn fin, and the British police saying, "Absolutely not, mate." Wales 2003. Wet, muddy, and absolutely treacherous. Marcus Grönholm's Peugeot 206 has hit a rock. His front left wheel's hanging off. The suspension arm is completely broken. Grönholm was the reigning 2-time world champion at this point, known for his never-give-up attitude and fierce determination. Behind him, Colin McRae's coming through. He catches Grönholm, sees the state of the car, and passes easily. No drama there. Grönholm had been running 3rd overall before the impact, just 12 seconds off the rally lead. But here's where it gets interesting. Grönholm thinks he can still make it back to service. He's determined. He's a fighter. He keeps going, the wheel flopping around like a broken limb. Imagine driving a car where one wheel is pointing 45 degrees the wrong way. That's what Grönholm was dealing with. Then the local police show up. "You can't go all the way back to service like that." "I'm going to go." "No." And that's that. Rally over. Rally stages use public roads, and if the police deem you a danger to yourself or others, your rally's over. No appeals, no arguments, no matter how many championships you've won. Grönholm was furious at the time, but looking back, he admitted the police were probably right. That wheel could have come off completely at any moment. Incident number 6. Gardemeister versus Rovanperä, 2005 Rally Cyprus. Now let's talk about what happens when two Finns get a bit too close for comfort. Cyprus, 2005. Hot, dusty, and brutal on machinery. Harry Rovanperä's Peugeot has transmission problems, gears are slipping and he's losing power on the exits of corners. Cyprus was one of the roughest, most demanding rallies on the calendar. Rocky stages that destroyed cars and tested every component to its limit. Behind him, Tony Gardemeister in the Ford Focus needs past. He's right on Rovanperä's bumper. They're practically touching. Gardemeister spent nearly 2 kilometers, over a minute, stuck behind Rovanperä before finding a way through. The two Finns get fully up close and personal. We're talking paint-swapping close. Gardemeister's nudging, Rovanperä's trying to find space, and finally, the road opens up enough for Gardemeister to squeeze through. It's like two shopping carts trying to pass each other in a narrow supermarket aisle. Except the carts are doing 80 miles per hour and cost £500,000 each. The transmission issue meant Rovanperä couldn't accelerate quickly out of corners, making it nearly impossible to build a gap where Gardemeister could safely pass. Both cars survive. Both drivers carry on. After the stage, Rovanperä said, "Tony did what he had to do. I would have done the same. No drama, no controversy. Just two professionals getting on with the job." Incident number 7. Loeb versus Sandell. 2011 Rally Sweden. And now we get to the most bizarre overtake in WRC history, one that shouldn't have been possible. Sweden, 2011. Sébastien Loeb's cruising through a stage when suddenly there's a car coming toward him. Down the stage, the wrong way. Loeb was the 9-time world champion at this point, the most dominant driver in WRC history, known for his precision and ice-cold composure. It's Patrik Sandell. He's gone off into a snowbank, got disoriented, and somehow ended up pointing the wrong direction. And now he's driving back down the stage, completely confused. Loeb had to slow from approximately 140 kilometers per hour to 60 kilometers per hour to avoid a head-on collision, costing him roughly 5 seconds. Imagine driving down a motorway and suddenly seeing a car coming at you in your lane, except you're on a narrow forest road with nowhere to go. Fortunately, a marshal's able to warn Loeb. He takes evasive action, passes Sandell without major incident, and carries on. After hitting the snowbank, Sandell's car spun 180 degrees, and in the confusion and adrenaline, he simply started driving in the direction he was facing, which happened to be back down the stage. The FIA investigated this incident thoroughly. Sandell was given a warning, but no penalty. He was genuinely disoriented after the crash. But it did lead to stricter protocols about drivers who go off and rejoin. Incident number 8. Kresta versus Solberg. 2003 Rally Deutschland. This one's particularly brutal because both drivers did everything right and still ended up in the barriers. Rally Deutschland, 2003. Roman Kresta's Peugeot had broken suspension on his first event for the team. Talk about a nightmare debut. Deutschland was known for its vineyard stages, narrow, twisty roads with concrete barriers on both sides and zero margin for error. He's crawling through the stage, trying not to make things worse, and behind him, Petter Solberg's charging through in the Subaru. The problem? Dust. Thick, dense, choking dust that turns the road into a guessing game. Solberg was traveling at approximately 110 kilometers per hour when he hit Kresta. Visibility was less than 10 meters. It's like driving through fog so thick you can't see your own headlights, except you're doing 70 miles per hour, and there's a stationary car somewhere ahead. Solberg catches Kresta but can't see a thing. He's driving blind, relying on his pace notes and instinct. Kresta pulls over to let him past, but Solberg can't see where Kresta is. He clips the Peugeot, both cars spin, and suddenly both drivers are out of the rally. The dust was so dense because the stage hadn't been watered beforehand, a practice that's now standard on dry gravel rallies to improve visibility. After this incident, the FIA started looking at dust mitigation strategies. Some rallies began watering stages before cars went through. Others adjusted start intervals to give more time between cars. Incident number 9. Østberg versus Prokop. 2016 Rally Poland. And finally, let's talk about one of the closest, most heart-stopping passes that somehow didn't end in disaster. Poland, 2016. Fast-flowing gravel stages with massive jumps and blind crests. This is where the young guns come to prove themselves. Martin Prokop's Ford Fiesta has engine problems. He's lost turbo boost pressure, cutting his power by nearly 30%. Poland was one of the fastest rallies on the calendar, with average speeds over 120 kilometers per hour, making it incredibly dangerous when cars are running at different speeds. Behind him, Mads Østberg in the Citroën is on a flyer. Østberg was catching Prokop at a rate of 3 seconds per kilometer, an absolutely massive time difference. Østberg catches Prokop on one of the fastest sections of the stage. We're talking 150 kilometers per hour through the trees, over jumps with barely any margin for error. This is like trying to overtake someone on a motorway, except the motorway is made of gravel, has trees inches from both sides, and occasionally launches you into the air. Prokop sees Østberg coming and tries to move over. But at these speeds, moving over isn't simple. You can't just pull to the side. You need to maintain your line through corners. You need to land jumps properly. Østberg makes a move on the inside of a fast left-hander. It's tight. Really tight. The two cars are inches apart. Østberg gets through, but it's so close that both drivers admit afterward they were holding their breath. The onboard footage shows Østberg's co-driver going completely silent as they make the pass, then exhaling loudly once they're clear. That's the tension these guys deal with. No contact, no crash, but it's a reminder that overtaking at rally speeds isn't just about bravery. It's about precision, timing, and a bit of luck. The psychology. What goes through a driver's mind? Let's talk about what's actually happening in the driver's head during these moments. You're doing 120 miles per hour on a gravel road. Your co-driver's reading pace notes. Your heart rate's at 180 beats per minute. Your hands are gripping the wheel so hard your knuckles are white. And then you see dust ahead. Your brain goes into overdrive. Is that dust from the car in front? How far ahead are they? Are they stopped? Are they moving slowly? You've got maybe 2 seconds to make a decision. Slow down and lose time, push on and risk a collision. Try to pass and potentially end both your rallies. This is why overtaking in rallying is so mentally demanding. It's not just about car control. It's about processing information at superhuman speeds and making decisions with incomplete data. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.